Right, let's do this.
Let's do this.
It's the Figure Forecast, folks. We're back, and not for any old episode. No, sir! This ain't your average Figure 4. This is the year-ender. We're cracking open the vault, revisiting the sweat, the slams, the surprises, and the suplexes that shook the squared circle in 2023. It's your smooth voice that's cut in now.
I have no idea what the next sign is.
That's right, King Homo. 12 months. Right, that was our AI intro. One of the many AI intros that Damien got for us over the last week.
I think our regular intro is better, so
let's just go to that, shall we?
We're back once again. We're a couple of weeks late, but it's the end of 2023, the year in review. We did this last year. It was a bit more Christmassy last year, but we thought we'd revisit the video podcast format and kind of discuss what 2023 was in wrestling. Our highs and a couple of the lows.
Yeah, sure.
If you don't know, I'm King Damo and joined by Sammy Drip Drip. We are the Figure Forecast.
Yeah.
Hit that jingle.
So, shall we jump straight into it?
Yeah, what category do you want to start with first?
I think, shall we go Superstar Year first or the last?
Let's start with it, because I think the other categories are going to be a little bit more of a teaser.
Yeah, so what we've done is we've made sure that we've got different answers.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit boring if we had the same thing, but it was along the same wavelength on a lot of these. So. Yeah,
sure. So I'll start. I'm the one that watches a bit more wrestling outside of the Fed, as they say, and I've gone for MJF in what hasn't been a stellar year, or wasn't a stellar year for AEW. He was kind of like the shining light in it for me, and I think a lot of people. He obviously has had the main storylines being the world champion throughout the entire year. Well, spoilers until World's End when he lost it to Samoa Joe. He had notable stories with Adam Cole. It was pretty much all with Adam Cole, to be fair. He had obviously him, MJF started off as a heel, Cole as a face, them joining together to make Better Than You Baby, ultimately winning the ROH World Tag Team titles at All In, I think it is. It was at Wembley, and retaining the belt as well in the main event against Adam Cole. It was then later transpired to have the Devil storyline, which was revealed to be Adam Cole and the Undisputed Kingdom.
Yeah. What do you think of that reveal?
It makes sense, which is good.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, sometimes you just want that little bit of a twist, but yeah, it making sense.
My fear was that they went for like something completely off the chain, and it's like Shane McMahon, and you're like, whoa, it's Shane McMahon in AEW, and then you're like, but why Shane McMahon in AEW? And it makes no sense, and the story just goes completely off the hook. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was happy that it was Adam Cole, and it obviously leads into a lot more things. So for me, MJF, a shining light in not such a good company in 2023.
Yeah, it's not been the smoothest for AEW. It's not been bad, but it's not been the smoothest.
It's not been...
hopefully they can refine their footing and have a really good 2024.
Yeah, for sure. Who have you gone for?
I've not watched much AEW this year, so surprise, mine is a WWE guy, and I've gone for Gunther. He's had so many good matches this year and so many feuds that have kind of really held its own. He's made that title, the Intercontinental title, of course, feel really prestigious, and I think they've been doing a couple of these long title runs, and I think especially in the second half of 2023 his title run was the best one in WWE. So
I definitely think the title run's done the most for him as well. Well, yeah. I mean, it's been 50-50. He's brought that title up to a level it's not been in a long time, and he feels like this undefeatable titan almost.
Yeah.
And having that going into Rumble season, into Mania season, can only be a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. The only problem is the top the main event scene in WWE too busy at the moment for Gunther to lose upwards is a possible chance. So hopefully he can continue the momentum he's built in 2023. Like the Chad Gable stuff was really good. Even the Miz stuff, which so many people were complaining about online, it's some of the best we've seen of the Miz in a number of years. He's brought out the best of everyone he's faced, and he's looked great doing it as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there was talk of him against Lesnar, I think, at last year's Mania. And at that stage, you think, yeah, Gunther's like, he's a good wrestler. He's credible to face Lesnar. Can he win? Probably not. But now, if you go into Mania this year and think Lesnar against Gunther, like, feasibly, he could win that match.
Yeah, he probably should win that match.
He should. He probably should.
Lesnar's definitely on his swan song kind of years. Like, he's not going to be around for much longer. So
the visual of Lesnar with the IC title, though, is an interesting one.
Yeah, even if it's just in the build-up, like him posing to, like, he wants it. Did he ever won the Intercontinental title?
I don't think he has. I can't picture him with either the US or Intercontinental title.
No, so maybe
I think he went straight in for WWE.
Yeah, so maybe that's a bit of the story you can tell. But
yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Well, two deserved winners, and I'm sure
there's loads of
delighted
that should be mentioned
with this prestigious award.
There's loads of others that have had really good years. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and WWE.
Seth Rollins, Usos.
Yeah,
Roman Reigns, of course. He's he broke so many records. I can't even go into it.
Cody,
absolutely.
Dom,
yeah,
you could say has had a great year. Not necessarily on the same level. Yeah, so many that have had really good years in 2023, depending on which kind of level you look at for them. So
yeah, for sure,
real strong year.
Well, let's switch over to the female superstar of the year. You go first on this one.
It was a little bit more of a difficult one. I was trying to pick to have kind of a runners-up as well. So if we pick the same, we could still talk about two. And it just happens that we did get separate ones. But I was struggling just a little bit. I don't think there's been too many standouts this year. There's been a lot of stories and a lot of good moments and stuff, but not so much standouts. And I went with Rhea Ripley, who has been the most over woman in WWE, at least, probably expanding past that as well in 2023. Her social media following is like, she encapsulates everyone that they love her over TikTok, X, not Twitter anymore. Everyone seems to love her. Match-wise, she's not had that many top feuds, but she's in such a prominent position throughout the year. I think she's got to have had like the best year.
Yeah, I can see absolutely why you'd pick her. She's been the champion since easy for me to say, since WrestleMania, and has held that title throughout the year. She's just got that aura about her, hasn't she? Where she's got the star power behind her now.
They just need to find the right people for her to go up against. But she's really shown that sometimes there's more to being a wrestler than necessarily what happens in the ring. Not that what's been happening in the ring is bad, but she's excelled so much on the rest of it that brought her up so much.
Well, just imagine it comes to a head, WrestleMania 40, her against Bianca Belair finally. We got teased that visual at the end of the Rumble a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Imagine if it finally happens, it'd be awesome.
That could be the feud she needed in 2023, gets in 2024. Yeah. We could be here next year saying exactly the same sort of thing of who's been the best woman.
We absolutely could. I've gone for the champion on SmackDown, Io Sky. She's had a great year. Mrs. Money in the Bank won that, obviously, at Money in the Bank, believe it or not, and went in to cash in and win the world title. She was involved in the War Games match and did another spot with the pin off at the top. And she's been involved in this faction with Damage Control for a whole year. There's been various moments where it's looked like, oh, what's going on here? But she's always been the shining star in that group for me.
Yeah.
And her having that title, I think, epitomises that, really.
Yeah. It's been so entertaining to watch that. As I said before, she was my runners-up for it. So, it's been a great year for the champions. Hopefully in 2024 we can build the rest of the division up. Although it's not that it's been bad. The women's title scene's been entertaining. Becky Lynch has had a good year in jumping between shows. She's on NXT for a bit.
The feud with Trish.
Yeah.
Well, that seems like forever ago.
Now in the feud with Nia Jax, which is surprising that it's taken this long. I know Nia left or was released for a while in that time, but so many years since they clashed that first time to finally get it back. There's a lot to look forward to in the women's division for 2024, and potentially for AEW as well, because there is real strong rumours at the moment of a inbound Mercedes Moné. Still undecided at the time of recording this. She could have appeared on Raw tonight as Sasha Banks. She could appear at Dynamite on Tuesday night, Wednesday night.
Well, it's more likely Dynamite. If she's in WWE, she's coming out of the Rumble. Yeah, surely this close to the Rumble, you don't miss that pot.
It's been very hard to pinpoint.
It's hard to know with WWE now, isn't it? After the punker.
Yeah, all of the dirt sheets are undecided.
Yeah,
they seem to be like, oh, she's definitely going to AEW, and then someone else is like, no, she's definitely going to WWE. We'll see.
We'll soon find out. I just want to give an honourable mention to someone in the women's division that I think's really held up the tag team division, actually, the women's tag team division, and that's Chelsea Green. She's made it really entertaining and has put a bit more attention on those belts that's otherwise just forgotten. She's obviously dropped the belts now a couple of weeks back for the turn of the year, but she's one that I feel like could potentially be a Money in the Bank winner.
Yeah,
down the line, you could see her with that, and almost like in the Carmella role, where not the best wrestler in the world, but she's got a personality, and you could see her doing that opportunistic cash in on the champion.
Yeah, definitely see that.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Well, obviously we kind of mentioned her already, but Bianca Belair has had she's always a shoe-in for a good story, a good feud. Yeah. One of the best workers WWE have, so whatever they settle on for her in the next few weeks should lead to a really good WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
We said we think it's to be the Rhea Ripley one, but that should be good for both of them.
Absolutely. Right, so talk about our main superstars / wrestlers of the year. Let's move over to the moment of the year. Now, this can be across any promotion in the world, I guess. If you've been watching New Japan, seen any New Japan this year?
No, I can't say how. Maybe some clips online. It's not my regular weekly viewing.
No. So, moment of the year. I'll go for my moment of the year first. Going all the way back to Backlash in the first half of the year, Puerto Rico, and it was Bad Bunny against Damian Priest. That entrance for Bad Bunny was just something else. Like, the crowd was electric. I can't remember the last time I've seen a crowd react like that, all on their feet, all singing his song, just going nuts, and it was proper like, wow, he's like a megastar.
We've got a lot of wrestlers in WWE now who have those kind of join-in entrances. Jey Uso, Cody, Seth. But this was on another level, and it was like the perfect moment kind of to showcase wrestling outside of continental America? No, continental Europe. What mainland America?
North America.
Oh, it's still part of the US, isn't it?
I guess so.
But it really showed that if you go to the right places, you can get that crowd. Because sometimes American crowds are a little bit quiet, a little bit more subdued, but most of the non-regular crowds really bring it out and make moments their own.
Yeah.
And that kind of ties into what I picked for my moment. We'll save a particular one for later, but Sammy turning on Roman.
Great moment. All the way back at the Royal Rumble.
It was
nearly a year ago.
It was an inevitable split. It was tailing off the really great Bloodline, Honorary Uce, Peeling Uzi, all these kind of great moments. So many times of him making them like corpse and start laughing on camera. And then we finally get the start of this split. And it carried on. Obviously, we've now had Jay. Well, we had Jimmy leave and then Jay leave and then Jimmy come back. And it's gone through so many twists and turns. But this is the kind of the catalyst. Led into a great match at Elimination Chamber with an equally hot crowd as Puerto Rico. But yeah, that was my moment. That was my moment. It might have seemed a bit obvious, but it was just such a great moment to watch and for it to finally happen.
Awesome moment.
It felt like that was going to be the end of the bloodline. Obviously, we're now a year later and we're still waiting for that. But doesn't change how it felt in the moment.
No, massive pop in wherever the hell we were. I think it was my house. Yeah, going crazy. I'm pretty sure that was the first one that Aidan watched with us as well.
Royal Rumble. Yeah. We were here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he might not have really understood what was going on, but he felt the energy from us at least for that moment. From moment of the year, let's go to biggest disappointment of the year. Go on a little bit of a negative. I think it's quite clear what mine would be. Throwing it back to WrestleMania last year in the main event, Cody against Roman. Cody should have won and he lost. I stand by that he should have won. In the story afterwards, I really feel like Roman, having already lost the belt, would have really enhanced the stories that were happening afterwards. This desperate man who's now losing the control over his family. And if they are now going to do Roman against The Rock, which is potentially going to happen instead of Roman Cody 2, you could just do it for the head of the table. You don't need the titles involved in that match.
There's rumours that they are only doing it for the head of the table.
Yeah, I know. The closer it gets to, like, you see Hulk Hogan's record or these other records, you're like, oh no, could they? And it just fills me with dread. Cody should be champion.
Would Cody still be champion now? I mean, Triple H has leveled on the title reign, so
I'm not sure if he would still be champion now, but he should have been champion at WrestleMania last year, and I stand by that.
Yeah,
without a doubt. What about you?
So I knew you was going to pick that. You've been very vocal over the year of that, so I immediately pushed that one out of my mind. I wasn't as down on it as much as you were at the time. But
I was a broken man.
One that has repeatedly hit me this year, and it's only a minor disappointment each time, but it soon adds up, is how many times Seth should have lost the title and retained. Now,
Seth the chef is cooking.
Now, obviously, WWE introduced a new world title this year to kind of offset the fact that Roman doesn't defend very often. He's not there all the time. It's like, we'll get an extra one in. And from the start, I said that whoever wins it should have a short title reign and maybe have 2 or 3 before the year's up that hold that title, just to make WWE feel unpredictable again. Because so many title reigns have been long, that it starts to get a bit, well, the champion's not going to lose, it's not a big pay-per-view. And every single time they had the opportunity to do it, they didn't. So that's my biggest disappointment, is that Seth is maintaining that title run, because WWE doesn't feel as unpredictable in its matches. Elsewhere, it can feel unpredictable, but in its matches, champions tend to retain their title, unless, of course, it's a big event, and that gets a bit stale after a while.
Yeah. No, look, I completely agree with you. Some people may not. Some people may love Seth the Chef.
I mean, I really like Seth. I just think his title was the one that they could have done this with without hurting him.
Yeah.
Or anyone.
No, I completely agree. I feel like he should have lost it to Finn in that first match.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I think that was at Money in the Bank.
He could have lost it to Finn. He could have lost it to Nakamura. He could have lost it to...
Priest, was it?
Did he fight Priest? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
There's been cash-in attempts, but teases. He could have lost it to Drew. Like, none of these would have been bad things.
But it's okay, because he's going to lose it to the Punker at WrestleMania.
Maybe
it's gonna happen. We'll lose it.
We'll get to predictions in a little bit, but
yeah. All right, let's swiftly move on from Damien's breakdown to the pay-per-view of the year. What have you got for this?
I have gone for WrestleMania Saturday. Obviously, capitalizing. Main evented. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Main evented by Sami and Kevin Owens versus Bloodline. For the Usos, sorry, for the undisputed tag team titles, is that what they call them?
Yep.
Such a great moment, deserving of the main event, and such a good story ender for that chapter. Everything you wanted a WrestleMania to be. The other matches on the card were really good as well. I don't think there was a single bad one on the day. You had Rhea versus Charlotte was part of that night as well. It's a WrestleMania, which always brings it up a level, but I think that one really delivered. Yeah. The second night had a couple of misses. The main event being one that a lot of people, you included, don't like, and it had that weird moment with Shane McMahon.
Oh man, how did I forget about that? That should have been my moment of the year.
But
Shane blowing his quads.
The first night was so good, and as we've been showing this year, we've been a friend experiencing WWE for the first time in a good number of years.
Yeah.
I think it really helped show what WrestleMania can be, because that was the one he got to see as well. So
yeah. Do you know what? I was actually contemplating other pay-per-views like Money in the Bank in London or Backlash, whereas in Puerto Rico, because of these crowds being so hot, being outside of North America, I guess. But I feel like I've got to agree with you on WrestleMania Night 1. I know I said we have different answers, but I was just thinking back to the feeling that I had during that show, and it was just euphoric. Like, it reminded me of that WrestleMania where Kofi Kingston won the title.
Yeah,
and all of the results were like fan favorites winning the title. And
there was three that night. It was Seth versus Brock.
Yeah,
Becky
winning in the main event.
Was that the triple? Was that main event? Yeah, and then Cody Mania.
That's Cody Mania. But yeah, you left night one thinking, oh my god, we've just had this and we've got a whole another night coming, and then get the shower of shit.
Oh, I mean,
in the main event,
it wasn't a shower of shit.
I mean, it was you saw me at the end of that show. It was like the complete opposite feeling to Euphoria.
Yeah, I thought this podcast was done when Roman's music was playing. Like, I thought Sam would never want to watch wrestling again.
I've never been the same man since, but yeah, I'll go for night one, WrestleMania, for pay-per-view of the year.
I'm really loving the 2-night thing. Obviously, we got
awesome.
The first one was during the pandemic, the first one?
Yeah, I think it was.
But we had the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse matches, which both was a really good show, because you got excited, like, oh, if that's what we had night one, what are we getting tomorrow? I don't think it's ever failed to deliver.
No.
But some nights, like this year, it had such a strong start.
It makes it more of an event for me, rather than it just being one night. It's like this. It's more of a spectacle having it over 2 nights.
And we don't have to stay awake for like 9 hours.
Thank God. Oh, that last one that was 9 hours was just ridiculous.
Thank God they dropped pre-show matches as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Hunter. Let's move on to our last topic. Our last section, I guess. Biggest surprise of the year. We're both agreeing on this, I think. It's the Punker.
Yeah.
The Punker coming back home, baby. He did have 2 returns, technically, in 2023. He returned back to AEW TV after Brawl Out and ripping both of his triceps. And then it swiftly, with a swift blow to Jack Perry's face, apparently, ended for him at All In, and he came back to WWE at the end of Survivor Series, which... we've seen so many reaction videos to it. Our reaction was pretty much the same as them.
Yeah,
just weird disbelief.
We almost missed it. Like, if I'd not been on Twitter at the close of the show as a normal kind of little routine of just seeing how general perception to a show was, we might have missed it. As you was about to turn the TV off, it was 4 o'clock in the morning, here in the UK.
And a logo came up at the bottom of the screen.
We were all done, and then there goes the opening of Cult of Personality, and
unbelievable.
stunned silence.
Do you know what? It's still so surreal seeing him on WWE TV, thinking of that moment, seeing the graphics on like Twitter and stuff where they advertise him for matches.
Yeah.
It just looks like fan rendered images, and like it's just crazy. It's now essentially been 10 years this month since he left WWE. He came back just short of that. It's just nuts to me that he's back in WWE, and it feels right as well. The younger me that was a massive WWE fan that loved CM Punk during that historic WWE title reign, it just feels right and it makes me happy.
Yeah. he seems genuinely happy as well. Like some of his promos have been a little not forced, but I think like faux. Like he's saying like, oh, he's finally home. It feels so, but I think it's supposed to, because most people know what he's gone and done and what he's said about WWE. And I think Triple H said in the press conference after 10 that, like, been 10 years, people have changed, people grow, you're not the same people. And now kind of the time was right. I think Vince not leaving because he's still there, but him not being as in control, and Punk having refound his enjoyment of wrestling, only to then remember why he disliked parts of it over AEW. Like he clashed some heads, quite literally in some cases. I think it's like the perfect storm of all things, and such a surprise. Nobody knew. The dirt sheets didn't know.
No, it was great, wasn't it?
There was rumours.
Not have any spoilers.
All the dirt sheets like, no, it's not happening. We spoke to WWE. They said they'd spoke, but nothing was happening.
It's just amazing, man. I love it, and he's my superstar of the year for this year coming.
There is
one way or another, something's going to happen with him.
There is a strong possibility of it. His run up to WrestleMania against Seth could be some of the most must-watch TV WWE put out. Like, because Seth's always had that kind of good delivery. His stuff with Riddle, when they went a bit real, was like, oh, okay, we need to watch this. So
that's when it gets good. When those lines blur between reality and kayfabe, I guess. That's when it's at its best.
That should all be starting in a couple of weeks when we...
Punk is back tonight.
Well, I mean, we should start those moments once the Rumble is either imminent or just past. Then there's been build.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of our looking back at 2023 done. We're going to have a brief look into 2024. And as you've just mentioned the Royal Rumble, your thoughts on potential winner for the Royal Rumble? If you had to pick two that you think are the outliers at the minute, for both men and women's, who
it's such a problem to predict now, and it's a good problem to have, is that some years you've gone in and gone, it's definitely going to be this person, all the stories are pointing. But if you look at the minute, we've got 2 world champions for the men. Presumably, we're not going to have a situation where like Charlotte went to face the NXT champion. Presumably, we're not going to get that again. Who is the NXT champion at the moment?
That is a good... Ilya Dragunov.
Yes.
Is the NXT champion.
So presumably, we've got someone going to face Seth or someone going to face Roman. Now, if it's someone winning to go and face Roman, you've got 2 likely categories. You've got Cody, because he needs to swap brands, or you've got The Rock.
The Rock can't win.
I would just mean that like you need your WrestleMania match, and then for Seth, the most likely one is CM Punk. Now, question is, does that need to be for the title? I don't think it does. So I think you could have a situation where Damian Priest wins with his Money in the Bank, because we need to have someone win Money in the Bank, and then the Royal Rumble winner will face Priest. So I think that that's where my prediction is at the minute. I don't want to put a name on, because obviously we'll do a proper prediction for Royal Rumble in a couple of weeks. But that's where my thought process is that's the way you solve the money. To the minute, the men's Royal Rumble is either super obvious or doesn't have a purpose.
No, I get what you mean. Obvious isn't necessarily the worst thing, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
There's 2 things I'd say to that. Priest, I can't see as a world champion defending at WrestleMania at this stage.
I don't think it would matter with how stacked the card would be at Mania.
Yeah, but then again, that just makes that title just another title, and that's what they've been trying not to do.
True.
Number 2, if you have Punk against Rollins for that title, Punk takes that title, which represents like the leader of this company that Seth Rollins loves, and he sees CM Punk as saboteur. I think that adds to the story. He's defending the honour of WWE with that title in a way.
In which case, it has to be either Punk or Cody that win.
Yeah,
presumably Cody if he is going on to face Roman, because you need a way of switching brands. Punk could win a shot by Elimination Chamber or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's the way you go. I think you go Cody or Punk. I think you do go obvious on this one. Like I say, it's not necessarily the worst thing. You build other stories during the Rumble.
Women, I think you've got to go for quite a surprise winner. And initially, if you're not getting a returning Sasha Banks and there's nobody else to return or debut that I can think of, that is like super. Well, there's Jade Cargill, but I don't think
she's win.
I don't think that fits quite with the character. I think Bayley is a good shout.
Bayley's good,
and you could run a Evolution style. Like, okay, you go over and you beat Rhea, and then Bayley's like, no, actually, you've been horrible to me last week. I'm going to face you for the championship.
Yeah.
And Bayley turns face.
Bayley's the one that I would pick as well, yeah, for sure. You've obviously got the Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley story there. That match, which
doesn't need the Royal Rumble, does it?
Doesn't, but you got the brands.
Yeah.
Is the only issue there. Bianca's on SmackDown. Yeah, that's the only problem. But look,
maybe they'll swap Bianca and Cody. Afraid.
Maybe, yeah. That just mentioning Jade Cargill, the story is all that it's going to be her against Charlotte, and that's going to be like her big match. But now Charlotte's obviously out. I wonder what happens with her, because she's
Becky's
a shout. Becky's a shout to win the Rumble though as well, I think.
Yeah, face Rhea.
Yeah, they've been trying to keep them away from each other.
Yeah,
I could see Becky against Rhea at Mania. That's a big match.
There's a lot of options.
Yeah.
What do you make of the return of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
Very conflicted with it, to be honest with you. It's like, wow, it's The Rock, he's back and he's awesome. And then like hearing him say head of the table and linking himself with Roman, you're like, oh god, it's finally going to happen. And then the realization for me, and I think a lot of other people, but that takes all the Cody match away. And what do you do there?
Well,
it's such a conflict.
There's been rumours that Australia wants him. So that he's not back for WrestleMania, he's back for an Elimination Chamber match. Not to be in the Elimination Chamber, to clarify, but to be on that event, which...
I don't know about
that. Yeah.
I think The Rock coming back and wrestling a match.
I don't think he can wrestle a match. Like,
I know, he falls apart every time he has a match, doesn't he?
Like, this time when Cena comes back, like, he doesn't have the stamina that he once did. Like, that muscle memory of how to do it might still be there. I'm not saying that they've lost it, but they don't have the stamina. And at this point, like, Roman's matches are slogfest that go on 30 minutes because you're waiting to get through all of the shenanigans, and you need that win. Like, if Cody's in that match and winning, that match needs to go 35 minutes where he gets through everything that should go wrong, and then finally, like, he's got to overcome everything for the victory. And I don't think The Rock was The Rock's match go 10-15 minutes?
No, when's the last time he had a match? Was it Cena?
I think so, yeah. And then
it was what, 10 years?
I think with The Rock,
10 years.
He doesn't win.
Really?
You really go from having Roman as the champion and not being there to The Rock being champion, because The Rock,
I don't personally.
Next match is presumably SummerSlam where he drops the title. He's got shit to do. He's The Rock.
Yeah, I don't personally, but I don't know. There's the thing in my heart is Cody winning the title at Mania, but the more you see these records getting closer, the more I think, is it The Rock, and does he retain?
Well, it has also immediately brought out the best in the Bloodline story, because this week on SmackDown, obviously we was meant to have a number one contender triple threat match, and I think it's the first time we've seen them do it from a triple threat point of view, when someone comes out, attacks the contenders, and they go, well, now you've got to face all of them.
Yeah.
So now we're getting a fatal four-way, and there has been theories online that Roman isn't walking out of Royal Rumble with the title.
Nah, screw that. He's walking out of Royal Rumble with the title. Not a chance to see losing it to any of them bums.
LA Knight's a bum.
And AJ Styles. Dark AJ Styles in his black trousers.
He was just wearing trousers this week, wasn't he? Those weren't
They're like skinny jeans, weren't they, pretty much?
They look like suit trousers.
Yeah. No, he's not dropping the title at Rumble, not a chance.
Rock costs him, and then you have Orton versus Cody at Mania.
What an anticlimax that would be.
It would be.
Imagine LA Knight pinning AJ Styles to win Roman Reigns' title and breaking his record-breaking run. It's not happening.
Yeah.
These people need to get a life.
So, presumably, the best case scenario then is Rock, Roman at Elimination Chamber to be head of the table, and a Royal Rumble winning Cody Rhodes interferes as a kind of one last fuck you to Roman before their WrestleMania match. That's probably the best case scenario I can think of. I dare you do better, WWE. Please do better than that.
They could well do. They've surprised us big time, as we've just mentioned this year. So look, it's an exciting year to come. There's all sorts of possibilities that could happen, and I for one am looking forward to it big time.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much concludes our little look back and brief look forward to 2024.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening over the last year. It's been a bit hit and miss. We're going to try and get a little bit more regular this year, in one form or another. Soon to be announced, I think, is what we'll say.
We'll hopefully have some stuff to announce soon, so stay tuned to social media. We do have to do your punishment for 2023 at some point.
I think I'm looking tanned enough, Phil. Yeah. I mean, under the light, I look very pale.
Yeah, we're gonna get you this colour. Maybe not that colour. Maybe this.
That's like proper Oompa Loompa.
Can we get you really red instead?
No.
We're going to have to come up with another punishment for 2024. Hopefully we can announce that punishment at the Royal Rumble predictions, because that will be obviously our first major predictions.
2024.
Yeah, come Christmas time this year, we'll have some something fun video to do.
Certainly will. Yeah. Well, that's all from us.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you down the line, 2024.
I'm just going to put these socials on the screen, because I can do that with a video. I suppose I should read them out for...
Wait, which way is the camera going? I'll do the Shawn Michaels socials.
Yeah, I'll just put them where we're pointing, and then I'll put I'll add in the audio at the end. Well, this has been a weird end. I'm going to fuse like Dragon Ball Z. Right. See you next time.
Goodbye. See you, Bug.